Hello everyone, my name is Megan Streetman, and today I'm going to be doing my presentation on the Casta paintings, or Pinturas de Castas, for HUM2461.0M1. So, what are the Casta paintings and what were their purpose? The Casta paintings are a collection of artwork created in the 18th century and early 19th century in Mexico, used to depict the racial intermingling in the New World to the eyes of the people in the Old World. It was a response to the demarcating of the hierarchy in the Old World and related to the Enlightenment period, where there was a heightened interest in creating taxification and classifications for different people, different animals, plants, all of the things that the New World offered that the Old World had not quite discovered yet. The paintings emphasize the notion of hyperabundance, proliferation of local bounty in the New World. They showed that the New World was full of these different plants and these different fruits and things that the Old World didn't have and couldn't produce, and how bountiful the New World could be for the Old World. They were in response to the notion of degeneration circulating in the Old World as well in relation to the New World. A lot of rumor circulating in the Old World was stating that the New World was tainting the blood of the Spanish and it wasn't worth the while that it was taking. However, these paintings were in response to that, to try to show that the New World was worth the undertaking and the abundance that the New World had to offer. They also showed that Spaniards were considered on top in the racial hierarchy and all others were below them. To the right of my screen, you will see two pictures from the Castas paintings, and the first top showing an indigenous couple with their child, and the second showing a European couple with their mestizo child as well. Okay. Okay, so the social and racial hierarchy depicted in the Casta paintings. Each painting depicts a different interracial group, such as an African mother and a Spanish father with their child, or a Spanish father and indigenous mother with their child. And it shows what their child's classification would be racially. So the paintings were created to kind of distinguish ethnicity, and they use labels and visual details such as dress code, occasion, and setting to do so. Socially, this created a classification system for the different racial identities as their groups grew, such as the creation of the classification of a mestizo, which is the offspring of a European and indigenous person, or mulatto, which is a European and darker-skinned person's child, zambo, a darker-skinned person and their indigenous partner creating a Zambo child, or castizo, which is a Spanish person with a European person creating a child that is Spanish with some American in them as well. It depicted racial hierarchy through the artwork, and it signaled economic and class divisions based on the details of each painting. So it stereotypically created a notion that the painting showed what each group was like, and that was not 100% correct. So albino representation in the 18th century wasn't much. Albinism was not fully understood scientifically or socially in the 18th century. There was an emphasis that albinism was of Black origin, that it was the way that darker-skinned people could naturally revert back to a lighter skin color, and that is due to the fact that the notion of lighter skin was considered the original skin color, the natural skin color for a person to have. It reflects European and Creole anxiety over the instability of skin colors and the idea of blurring racial boundaries that could ultimately define their ability to rule. The representation of albinism in the 18th century showed that the European and the Creole people were anxious over the idea of albino people, and that they didn't quite understand it. So they thought that in a way that this was undermining their ability to rule, as they believed that the origin of albinism was from darker skinned people being able to naturally revert themselves back to some skin color that they pictured as the natural skin color. In relevance to today's society, the Casta paintings, although they are very offensive, they do show us and teach us a lot about understanding the role of art in history, specifically in the racism and race of the colonial Americas. Prior to colonial Americas, the old world was not exposed to this much racial intermingling, and these paintings, in a sense, provided a sort of visual for what was going on in their times and a way to understand in their times through art. It depicted the colonial people's collective understanding of race and status. Like I said, it just shows how they understood what was occurring, what was going on, and how things were changing in their society. And it also demonstrates the period of enlightenment in which there was a heightened interest in classification and taxification of people, and how important it became to document these things, such as the things that the New World offered that the Old World did not, or the new classification of racial groups and ethnical identities. All right, and these are my sources that I used for my presentation. I used the Yale University's video, The Invention of Casta Paintings, Race and Science in the Age of Enlightenment. This helped me further understand exactly what I was delving into and what I needed to know to gather the information for this presentation. I also used the Communications and Creative Sciences, the creative services text that was found on our campus provided by our professor. I also utilized the Why in Albino, some notes on our new Casta paintings by Miguel Cabrera, which was an article detailing the albino representation in the 18th century and understanding further the depictions of the Casta paintings. And I also finally used the video Pride and Anxiety in New Spain, Francisco Clapera, set of 16 Casta paintings circa 1775 video, which further helped me understand exactly what the Casta paintings were depicting to me and understanding the Casta paintings as a whole. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something. Buenas noches.